Hi, welcome to our channel Good News. In the past, Huawei was the sole representative of domestic goods. American businesses developed a reputation for being so dishonest in the Chinese consumer market during the heyday of Huawei. With the 5G Kirin, Huawei has demonstrated to the world the extremely high standard of Chinese intelligent manufacturing. The most sophisticated 5G technology available now is from Huawei. According to Ren Zhengfei, Huawei's 5G technology will dominate for 1 to 2 years. The United States, a hegemonic nation with a long history of colonialism, would hardly improve Huawei in that regard. The acts of Huawei seem to impede the advancement of 5G in the US. But as far as I'm aware, neither Huawei's development nor American 5G development are related to or impacted by one another. However, the sensitive US has changed the chip regulations and included Chinese firms like Huawei and ZTE to the list of organizations that aren't allowed to cooperate. This makes it challenging for Huawei Kirin to go to a new level. Fortunately, after years of arduous struggle, Huawei, which insists on living with excellence, is slowly but surely piercing the thick darkness and seizing the beautiful light. Will the United States still be able to hinder Huawei's innovation in 5G semiconductors in the days to come? Will Huawei's innovation in 5G semiconductors truly put the US economy in doubt? Fortunately, Huawei's research and development is gradually overcoming the limits of 5G processors. Many individuals might be perplexed by Huawei's decision to violate chip limitations. Huawei Kirin has no chance of receiving free shipping, after all. Where does Huawei begin to circumvent the limitations? Actually, I can totally understand this. First off, following the 10th Global Broadband Event Network on October 15, 2019, Huawei hosted a media roundtable forum. Yang Chaobin, president of Huawei's 5G product line, stated at this roundtable conference that the company has already supplied more than 400,000 5G templates, and that after May 16, 2019, another 300,000 would be distributed globally. Additionally, some of them use American technology while others do not. It is still possible for Huawei's 5G templates to be independent of American technology. How is Huawei able to maintain the smooth growth of its 5G business without violating US chip restrictions? Second, why can't 5G Kirin processors from Huawei be shipped for nothing? The absence of 5G radio frequency chips has really been put into practice. On March 3 of this year, the domestic manufacturer Huawei said on the investor engagement platform that it had started to supply batches of its 5G RF chips, with local mainstream mobile phone and OMD manufacturers being the principal recipients. Therefore, the development of Huawei Kirin still has a chance to succeed with China's assistance. More significantly, Huawei also disclosed a patent for a chip stack structure and its packaging technique and electronic equipment on May 6 of this year. Guo Ping, Huawei's previous rotating chairman, also made a public statement during the release of the company's 2021 annual report that employing area for performance and stacking for performance makes less technologically sophisticated goods competitive on the market. Will the United States still be able to hold back in the future given that Huawei is often breaching the rules when it comes to 5G chips and is always looking for ways to re-emerge? Can the US still stop Huawei from releasing its 5G chip? According to a report cited by Huawei's official Twitter on June 9, 2020, the United States will continue to pay for the use of Huawei's 5G patents even though it went to great lengths to cut off Huawei's supply chain for 5G chips. This means that as far as 5G is concerned, the United States will continue to send Huawei regular payments. It may not be as simple for the United States to stop Huawei's 5G chip breakthrough given that Huawei's 5G patents cannot be avoided and the United States still owes Huawei significant 5G patent fees. Additionally, on February 16 of this year, a new report from the British data crowdsourcing company OpenSignal revealed that the 5G network speed in the United States ranked last in the world and that its growth rate was only 1%. This research makes it clear that 5G technology in the US is more of a tease than anything else. Under such conditions, the United States lacks the confidence to obstruct Huawei's 5G chip development and will inevitably be powerless to do so. Currently, the United States is unable to effectively slow down Huawei's 5G chip development. Is there really no threat from the United States if Huawei's 5G chip fails? Will Huawei truly be safe from American threats if it violates the rules? With Huawei's innovation in 5G chips, the United States won't be at all threatened by progress. The United States is prepared to create 6G since it is currently aware that it cannot outperform Huawei in 5G. In terms of communication signal technology, the United States and Japan announced their collaboration to create global standards for 6G technology on January 29 of this year. It appears that the United States of today has 6G in mind. There is a chance for success in terms of the United States' position as the world's leading nation in terms of science and technology. In the future, Huawei's 5G chip breakout may not be impacted by the more sophisticated 6G in the United States. Additionally, the chairman of the FCC announced in a keynote address on February 28 at the Mobile World Congress in Barcelona that the United States will begin auctioning the 2.5 GHz frequency band in July of this year, which will aid in the expansion of 5G services to the most populous areas outside of the city. This indicates that the United States is consistently enhancing the quality of its own 5G network. It might not be difficult to attain huge successes in 5G chips in the future. It might not develop into Huawei's 5G processors in the current globalized economy. Stumbling blocks to progress. The semiconductor chip scarcity that is impeding the manufacture of goods from China to the rest of the world, including toothbrushes, computers, appliances, and vehicles, will last until at least 2025. The development of the whole industrial chain is dependent on the weakest link in the chain, particularly for China, which wants to fully domesticate the entire industrial chain. Since the stepper, as the weakest link, determines the length of this process, this is also the fundamental reason why we think it will take China 12 to 15 years to reach the world's advanced level and self-sufficiency. In short, in my opinion, Huawei is breaking the game in terms of 5G Kirin chips and is strengthening its own 5G technology to realize the return of Huawei's king in 5G chips. Although the United States does not want to see Huawei grow rapidly, it is predicted that the United States will be hard to halt. Huawei still can't ignore it, though. After all, the United States might not be able to make Huawei a roadblock to progress. The 5G processors from Huawei won't have an easy ride. However, I think Huawei will be able to sustain with its current level of quality. Huawei will undoubtedly be able to regain its previous grandeur if it can once again hoist the banner of the first homegrown product. Thanks for having your watching in this video. You can add your ideas or suggestions below. Please keep following our channel and like our videos.